Everyone, today we will be discussing about reflection and transmission at normal incidence. Okay, now before going to reflection and transmission, we need to know about the electrodynamic boundary conditions. What is the first boundary condition? The first boundary condition will be in perpendicular direction, that is epsilon 1 E1 perpendicular is equal to epsilon 2 E2 perpendicular. Okay. The second boundary condition will be what? B1 perpendicular is equal to B2 perpendicular. The third boundary conditions is E1 parallel is equal to E2 parallel, and the fourth is 1 by mu 1 B1 parallel is equal to 1 by mu 2 B2 parallel. For any boundaries for any electromagnetic wave going from one boundary to another, because once we want to know the reflected and transmission coefficients, we need to know the boundaries, because at boundary only we get reflection, and when it crosses the boundary you will get the transmission. So now we will discuss today reflection and transmission at normal incidence. Reflection and transmission of an electromagnetic wave, that's what we are implying, at normal incidence. Normal incidence. Now we know what is our incident wave, that is stated EIXT. In the previous all classes we have discussed, we have taken x as the direction of propagation. So our amplitude will be E0I, E I K1x minus omega t. Okay, now we are taking this as J direction, because our electromagnetic vector we are taking in J direction, because our propagation in X direction. Similarly, our B will be X of t. Here it will be B0I e raised to I K1x minus omega t. Since our electromagnetic is in J direction, say our electric field is in J direction, our magnetic field will be perpendicular to it, so it will be in the K direction. Now I hope I am clear. Because our propagation is in X direction, our electric field and magnetic field will be because it is transverse nature, they will be in mutually perpendicular directions. So if you take electromagnetic electric field in the J direction, that is the Y direction, then automatically our B will be in the Z direction. So now what will happen to the other two vectors? What will happen to the reflected wave and what will happen to the transmitted wave? Our reflected wave will be given by, let us start with the, okay, our reflected wave will be given by ER of xt is same as this E0R. Only difference will be, in the previous classes we have discussed it, instead of K1x it will be minus K1x, because the direction is changed, minus omega t, and the same J. Again, what will be B of our magnetic field? X of t is equal to B0I e raised to I minus K1x minus omega t. This is K cap. I hope this part is clear. Then we will go to the transmission coefficient. Our transmission coefficient ET, transmission coefficient ET will be given by X of t, which is E0 E0t e raised to I. Again, actually we will be taking K2x minus omega t. This is the J cap. I hope why we are taking K2 is clear, because you are going from medium 1 to medium 2. Transmission waves means it is traveling from medium 1 to medium 2. So when you are assuming medium 1 with a wave number K1, you will have a different wave number for medium 2. Now again, what will be our bt? Bt will be x of t, again the same process, b0t e raised to I k2x minus omega t, and this will be k cap. Now how do you represent all these waves? So let us once again draw. Let us try to draw a medium. So this is the medium. Now let us take a plane. So let us take a plane. Now the wave is traveling through this plane, and this is the z-axis. This is the z-axis. So let us take this as the x-axis, this as the y-axis, and this is the z-axis in two-dimensional thing. So what is our electromagnetic? So this is the direction of propagation. We will write it as V1. So what will be the direction of electric field? EI. What will be the direction of magnetic field here? BI. Now here this is the medium 1. This is the medium 1. Now in medium 2 what happens? Medium 2, same thing, V2. This is V2. Whereas what will happen to this? Again this is ET. What is this? This is BT. Now look closely. In this medium, what is the condition of reflected wave? Reflected wave means something, it has been hit by a mirror, so it will have an opposite direction. So what will be our V1 here? V1 will be in this direction. What will be our E1 here? EI will be in this direction. So what will happen to our BI? BI will be in this direction. I hope you realize that when you reverse this expression, you will get it like this. So this will be E of R and this will be B of R. It will, when you take a mirror image, so what will happen? V1 goes there, E1, EI remains same. So ER on the same direction, and here BI and BR are in the opposite directions. So far so good. So now let us go back to the electrodynamic boundary conditions which we will apply. So what were the electrodynamic boundary conditions? Normal components, it doesn't matter. So 1 and 2 boundary conditions were dealing with normal components, because we are only traveling along the axis. So normal components don't matter. So the boundary conditions 1 and 2, which we have discussed in the beginning, don't matter. So we will only discuss the boundary conditions 3 and 4. What is the third boundary condition? Third boundary condition was E1 parallel is equal to E2 parallel, and 1 by mu1 B1 parallel is equal to 1 by mu2 B2 parallel. So using those boundary conditions, at x is equal to 0, what happens? EI plus ER and BI plus BR must join the fields to the right, that is ET plus BT. Look here once again. At x is equal to 0, this is the 0 point. What will happen? EI plus ER must be equal to ET, and BI plus BR naturally should be equal to BT. So let us see how do we represent them. We have to represent in terms of directions. So first one we will write E0I plus E0R is equal to E0T. Fair enough, good, there is no problem. Second, when you write B, it is not simply B, 1 by mu1 B1. So what is 1 by mu1 B1? What is the relationship between magnetic field magnitude and electric field? Electric field by velocity is magnetic field. So it will come out to be 1 by mu1 1 by V1 E0I for electric field, for incident, and this will be minus 1 by V1 1 by mu1 or let us do one thing, take 1 by mu1 common. Let us take 1 by mu1 common. So we put a, okay. Now 1 by mu1 E0R. Is this clear? Please look here. We know what is the hint. B is equal to E by C or E by V in this case. because we are not sure whether the light is traveling with the speed of c, electromagnetic wave is traveling with the speed of c or with the speed of the medium. That is fine enough. So here instead of b you will write it as E by V1, and here y minus sign, because no, they see here reflected wave direction of V1 changes. So V is a vector. So therefore there will be a minus sign. So this will be equal to 1 by mu 2 1 by V2 E0 t. Right hand side B2. B2 means the transmitted wave. So left hand side corresponds to the incident and the reflected wave. Right hand side corresponds to the transmitted wave. Now this is coming out to be what? Transmitted wave. That is the right hand side part of this expression is the transmitted wave. So now you get an expression like this. So we can write this expression as, let us name this expression as, let us say, put it as 1, name this as 2. 2 can be written as, 2 can be written as, E0I minus E0R is equal to beta E0T. Now how come, what is this beta? Into mu1 V1 by mu2 V2. Okay. Now let us name this as equation 3. Now see here, something like a simple, some variable equation we are getting. So x plus y is equal to z. Again we are getting x minus y is equal to beta z. Something like that. So we can solve. Once you solve, solving for 1 and 3. 1 and 3. So what is 1 here? See, 1 is E0 plus E0I plus E0R is equal to E0T, and 3 is E0I minus E0R is equal to beta E0T. You will get what? You will get E0R in terms of E0I and E0T also in terms of E0I. So 1 minus beta by 1 plus beta E0I, and E0T is equal to 2 by 1 plus beta E0I. So these are the expressions which we are getting. Fine. Now, as you go, you can check what is this beta. Beta is actually what? U1 V1 by U2 V2. Now, if both U1 and U2 are same or very close to each other, we can ignore them. So our beta will finally boil down to V1 and V2. Same, if U1 and U2 are nearly same, or then what will happen? Our beta is approximately equal to V1 by V2. Hence, our E0R, hence E0R becomes V2 minus V1 by V2 plus V1 E0I, and E0T is equal to 2V2 by V2 plus V1 E0I. Okay. So both E0R and E0T, which is the need of the hour, our reflection and transmission electromagnetic fields, have been expressed as a function of E0I. Now, look here carefully. We will assume, let us take what V2 is greater than V1, and so our E0R and E0T will remain the same. And in terms of our N is the refractive index. This will come out to be N1 minus N2. We are taking the let us take, we will take the modulus. Whatever it comes, we will go by it. So rather than, let us take it in terms of modulus. Or there can be two conditions, or V2 greater than, less than V1. So let us take a modulus. So V2 minus V1 by V2 plus V1. Either way it is fine. E0I. And we'll take the modulus V0T is equal to 0t will have no problem. It will be 2v2 by v2 plus v1. There we don't need to take the modulus, because again there is no minus sign. Here we will take the modulus. So now once you are taking the modulus, express in terms of n1 and n2. That is our refractive index. We know n velocity is related by c by v. So n1 plus n2. So they will have an inverse relationship. E0i and E0t is equal to 2n1 by n1 plus n2. E0i. What is the hint? Hint is n is equal to c by v, our very basic class 8th definition. So n and c have an inverse relationship. So here it is, there was v2 minus v1, so here it will come out to be n1 minus n2. Here it was v2, so it will be v1. So it will be n1. Now, with this data, let me remind you that the average intensity or the average which is the average power per unit area, was given by half epsilon v E0 square in our previous classes. So this was the intensity, or let us say the average power per unit area. Now, let us try to make some manipulations, like let us say if again mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu0, then ratio of reflected intensity to incident intensity is given by R is equal to IR by II, which is the reflection coefficient. It is E0R by E0I whole square, which is equal to N1 minus N2 by N1 plus N2 whole square. Now let me remind you once again. See, here the electric field is going twice. So therefore, when you want to take the reflection coefficient, let us say reflection coefficient. Similarly, the transmission coefficient will be given by IT by II, again which will be E0t by E0i whole square, and there will be some more terms also, E2V2 by E1 epsilon 1 V1, and this will be given as N2 by N1. This we can easily calculate, 2N1 by N1 plus N2 whole square. It's not a big deal, just substitute, and you see in this expression we are having epsilon 1 and epsilon 2, so they will cancel each other, and you will get this expression 2 by n, because V2 by V1, so it will be we can easily make the analysis. Fine. Now, what is our law of conservation of energy demands that when a light hits a surface, let us say this is surface 1, this is surface 2. When a light hits a surface, what should happen? Either it should be reflected and it should be transmitted. So the total, once the light hit, if this is 100%, then R and T should also be 100%. So our law of conservation demands that R plus T is equal to 1, that is 100%. It is the conservation of energy. Now, if the light is traveling from air, so what is the refractive index of air? N is equal to 1. And to glass, what is the refractive index? N is equal to 1.5. Then what will be R? R will be, on calculation, you can calculate it yourself, N1 minus N2 by N1 plus N2 whole square. So N1 minus N2, this is modulus, okay. So even if you don't take modulus, no matter, because you are getting squared. So this is N1 minus N2 will be 0.5 square by 2.5 square. So finally you will get the answer as 0.04, and T you will get as 0.96. Now this is quite evident because when light is traveling from air to glass, we know glass will transmit maximum light. 96% will be transmitted by glass and only 4% will be reflected by the glass, which goes well with our known knowledge and which we have proved also. That is, in a glass N1 and in an N1 and N2, you can calculate the reflection and the transmission coefficient. Maybe the same things you can do with different N and different uh, glass or different keeping air fixed and materials refractive index different, and you can get different values for R and T. So that's it. Uh, Thank you.